It was an early, cool morning in Los Angeles. The sun had just risen, its rays slowly sweeping across the sky, casting soft golden hues across the vast city below. The streets were still quiet, and the air held the familiar freshness of a new day. World-famous entrepreneur and inventor Elon Musk was out for his usual morning walk. He was dressed casually in a dark hoodie, black jeans, and comfortable sneakers, and he wore a quiet, almost serene expression on his face as he walked through the park near his home. Despite being one of the most influential people on the planet, Elon relished these moments of solitude. In a world filled with constant noise, business, technology, and world-changing innovation, these brief moments of silence allowed him to reflect. He often used this time to think about the future, Mars, the future of electric cars, and artificial intelligence. But something was different as he walked through the park today. His steps were quicker, and his mind was drawn to the world around him. As Elon continued walking through the park, he saw something unusual. A man sitting on a bench next to a small pond. His clothes were worn, and he appeared to be in his late 40s or early 50s, but his weathered face made him look older. The man was leaning forward slightly. Elon paused. The man's presence felt like an anomaly in the perfect stillness of the park. It was hard not to notice the striking contrast between this man's reality and his own. As Elon got closer, he studied the man more closely. His dark skin was weathered and cracked, and his hair was graying at his temples. He wore a faded olive-green jacket with torn sleeves, and his boots looked worn with age. His eyes were downcast. Elon was no stranger to the harsh realities of life, but this moment hit him harder than ever. Without thinking much, Elon approached the bench and slowly stood in front of the man. The man looked up in surprise, his eyes wide in disbelief. It was clear he hadn't expected someone like Elon to stop and talk to him.
Hello,
Elon said in a soft but direct tone.
how are you?
The man blinked a few times before answering, clearly confused.
I'm fine. Just trying to get by.
He mumbled, his voice low. He shifted uncomfortably on the bench, his eyes still searching Elon's face.
I'm James Montgomery.
He added, his voice barely audible. Elon smiled warmly, sitting down on the bench to make eye contact with James.
Nice to meet you, James. Do you have any work?
Elon asked.
I'm an engineer. I used to be.
James replied quietly, his eyes clouded with regret.
I worked as an engineer for years. I had a stable job, a family. Everything was going well. Until it wasn't. The company downsized, and everything fell apart one by one. I couldn't keep up. I lost my job, my apartment. I've been living on the streets for months, just trying to survive.
Elon listened intently. He could hear the pain in James's voice, and it struck a chord with him. As someone who had built his empire from the ground up, Elon knew the importance of opportunity, of second chances. Elon stood up, his mind racing with possibilities. He couldn't just walk away.
James,
He said gently,
I know you've been through a lot, but I can help. I believe that everyone deserves a second chance, no matter where they are in life.
James looked up, his eyes wide with confusion.
You can help me.
He stammered, as if he couldn't quite believe what Elon was saying. Elon smiled.
Yes, I can, and I will.
He paused for a moment, thinking about the best way to move forward.
I have the resources, James, and I'm in a position to make sure you get the help you need. You don't have to go through this alone.
Before James could respond, Elon reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He dialed a number, his assistant, Sarah, answering on the second ring.
Sarah, it's Elon.
He said quickly.
I need you to find the nearest hotel with availability and make sure they've got a room ready. Make it urgent.
Within seconds, Sarah responded.
Got it. I'll take care of everything right away.
Elon looked back at James, his expression calm.
James, help is on the way. We're going to get you somewhere safe where you can rest and recover. But first, let's get you something to eat.
Elon flagged down a nearby food vendor, buying a steaming hot bowl of soup and a sandwich for James. The simple meal seemed to bring a sense of warmth to James, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. As James ate slowly, Elon sat beside him, asking about his life. James shared the story of his career in electrical engineering, the projects he had worked on, and the friends he had lost along the way. He spoke of the injury that had ended his career and the painful transition from being an active member of society to finding himself on the streets. Elon listened intently, asked follow-up questions, and offered words of encouragement. It wasn't just about providing food or shelter, it was about restoring James's dignity and reminding him that he mattered. A short while later, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb. The driver, a tall man dressed casually, addressed James from inside and said,
Come on, James. We'll take you somewhere better.
The driver said, looking at James from inside the car. James hesitated, still not knowing what was happening.
Why are you doing this? You don't even know me.
The driver smiled warmly and said,
Because everyone deserves a second chance, James, and we're in a position to help you get one.
As they drove to a nearby luxury hotel, James James couldn't believe what was happening. It all felt like a dream. Here he was, in a car with Elon Musk, driving to a five-star hotel where just a few hours ago he had been sitting helplessly on a park bench. When they arrived at the hotel, the staff greeted them with a respect that made James feel like royalty. He was taken to a spacious suite on the top floor where a hot shower, clean clothes, and a comfortable bed awaited him. James stood in the middle of the room, his mind spinning. He had never been in a place like this in his life. Elon stayed by James's side, making sure everything was taken care of. He looked at James with a calm but encouraging expression.
Relax, James.
Elon said.
You've been through a lot, but now you have the chance to turn it all around. Just believe in yourself and everything will be fine.
James, still overwhelmed, looked at Elon.
I don't know how to thank you. This is too much. I've been struggling for so long, and now... this...
Elon smiled warmly and said,
There's no need to thank me, James. You've worked so hard your whole life, and now it's time to start over. Let us help you, but it's up to you to make the most of this second chance.
Elon made sure everything was set up before he left. James's temporary housing had been secured, and Elon's foundation would cover his first year's rent. In addition, a job training program had been set up to help James get back on his feet. James's eyes were filled with disbelief after learning this.
I never thought something like this could happen to me. I thought I had gone too far.
Elon smiled softly.
Nobody goes too far, James. All that matters is that you're here and willing to try again. You will succeed.
As Elon left the room, James sat quietly on the bed, absorbing the weight of the moment. He had been given a chance, a real chance, and he knew he wouldn't waste it. James sat on the edge of the bed, the room around him feeling almost unreal. The plush carpet beneath his feet, the soft light filtering through the large windows, and the expansive view of the city, none of it made sense in his life right now. It was a far cry from the cold park bench where he'd spent countless nights wondering if things would ever change. Yet, here he was, in a luxurious hotel room with a second chance in front of him. The words Elon had said echoed in his mind. You will succeed. For the first time in a long while, James felt a spark of hope. He didn't know how he would navigate the path ahead, but something had shifted inside him. He knew he had to at least try. He couldn't throw away what had been given to him. He stood up, pacing around the room, his thoughts racing. He had been given so much more than he ever expected. A place to stay, a chance to rebuild, and above all, someone who believed in him. Elon's right, James thought. This is my chance. James made a quiet promise to himself. Then he wouldn't squander this opportunity. He would work hard, keep moving forward, and prove to himself that he was capable of more than just surviving. I can do this, he told himself, feeling a sense of resolve settle deep in his chest. He walked to the window, looking out at the city below. The lights twinkling in the distance reminded him of all the things he had yet to experience, all the things he could still do. His thoughts turned to the job training program Elon had arranged for him. It felt daunting, but James knew it was a step in the right direction. He would have to learn new skills, adjust to a new routine, but this was his way forward. And with each small victory, he'd get closer to the life he wanted, one that wasn't defined by his past.